Hi, I'm Thomas Hunt.
I'm Lance Liggett.
And I'm Matt Finney.
And this is the Bad News Network.
This week, Joe Biden has been showing off his small package. Gross. Joe Biden said we are now at an inflection point for the Democratic infrastructure bill, which looks suspiciously like the Build It Back Better Act. They're basically one and the same. I have researched this a little bit. It is not enough. There's a lot involved with why we went from $3 trillion to $1.75 trillion, which the news agencies are calling $550 billion, but is actually almost $2 trillion. So I'm going to rattle off some of the aspects of both the bill and the act. The bill proposal is now at $1.75 trillion. If passed, Congress will have enacted $5 trillion in 10 months. Some of the aspects are as follows: child care funding, universal preschool, climate change, and electric vehicle incentives. There are surcharges aimed at millionaires and billionaires, and no one under $400K will be taxed more, they assure you. They are going to invest in the IRS to make sure those people are paying taxes, however. There's going to be a 15% minimum tax on corporate profits. There's going to be a 50% minimum tax on foreign profits of U.S. corporations that do their business overseas. The Dems are still hoping to write in paid family leave, which America is really far behind compared to other countries in terms of doing that. The child tax credit from the corona stimulus is going to be extended. There's going to be a reduction in health care for insurance premiums for Obamacare users. Expansions in Medicare include hearing, but Bernie Sanders is pushing for vision and dental also. Bernie is really pushing to this because he is blind and has no teeth left. There's an electric vehicle tax credit of up to $12,000 for middle-class families. They want to extend the earned income tax credit for 17 million low-wage workers and provide funding for black colleges and universities. It's posted that $100 billion will go towards reducing immigration backlogs and expanding legal representation, although no improvement to the path for citizenship has been presented. They literally just said the same thing that they ran on. We'll fix this. How? No comment. Meanwhile, Biden wants to pass the Build Back Better Act in tandem with the infrastructure bill. This is confusing to say the least because the Build Back Better Act looks like the infrastructure bill, just a little bit more robust. Many of these are in the same boat of, hey, we'll make it better. How are you going to do that? Yeah, I have no comment at the time. So this includes, as per the White House, an investment in children also, climate change, reducing greenhouse gases and pollution by 1 gigaton by 2030, creating high-quality jobs and creating an environmental justice system, and probably a power team that will go around and kick your ass if you use too much electricity. There's expansion in healthcare coverage. There's a tax credit for low-income wages, and they want to tax people over the income of $400K. They do assure that nobody under that limit is going to be taxed extra. On immigration, again, straight from the White House print, they said the framework will also improve and reform our broken immigration system, consistent with the Senate's reconciliation rules. This is, again, all they have to say about immigration. And the media refuses to cover the crisis down there, and the ones that try to cover the crisis aren't allowed to. Families earning less than $300K per year will not pay more than 7% of their income on children under the age of 6. Parents who are looking for work, participating in education, or training programs that make under 2.5 times the state's median income will receive support to cover the cost of quality care based on a sliding scale capped at 7% of their income. Parents with one toddler earning over $100,000 per year, according to the framework, will be able to save $5,000 a year. There are aims to improve Medicaid coverage for home care services and seniors and people with disabilities. Again, they don't really go into that. They are continuing the child care support that was implemented during the coronavirus by giving parents with children extra cash. There's incentive to give consumer rebates and cut the cost of installing rooftop solar for homes by about 30%, and trying to shorten the payback period by about 5 years. There's a whole slew of incentives for environmental justice and creating new jobs that basically monitor that and try and downgrade how much energy we use, or at least make it more efficient. There's a long list of things that this bill had and now does not have and then has again. There's a lot of concessions being made. No deal has been reached yet, and we will report back once we get a solid look at what the hell these guys are going to pass.
Hazard High School in Hazard, Kentucky is under investigation right now after videos came out from an event that was labeled Man Pageant. The video shows high school dudes dressed up in skirts giving mock lap dances to male high school teachers. Right now, every Marine out there is sweating. Another showed a group of high school girls in Hooters outfits. The principal of the school, Donald Mobilini, was seen in many of the videos and photos of the event. Donald is also the town's mayor, and while the news is reporting this like a big event, in all honesty, this kind of hijink was all too common at our schools growing up. The jocks dressing up like the girls dressing up like the jocks. Granted, I can't remember any lap dances happening, so the sexualization bit is definitely cause for a reprimand, but by no means should anyone be fired over this or worse, sent to jail. We had a whole contingent of people across the US and the globe supporting the Netflix show Cuties, which sexualized children, and those people were praised as brave. These kids are just having a laugh at their teachers before they graduate, and if this is going to be deemed illegal, you're going to have to arrest basically everyone in the military as well.
President of Taiwan, Tsai Ing-wen, confirmed to the world that the U.S. was training their troops this week. He said, "We have a wide range of cooperation with the U.S. aiming at increasing our defense capability, marksmanship, and volleyball skills." The president did state that the U.S. troops are not stationed there, but they are helping to train the Taiwanese military. No one can blame them, as China has been conducting numerous military exercises next to and encroaching on Taiwanese waters and airspace. When asked about the reports of U.S. troops training the Taiwanese military, the Chinese foreign minister said that the U.S. should cut that shit out and cut military ties and arms sales to Taiwan in order to avoid damaging relations. To which the president of Taiwan responded by saying, "Suck a dick."
The stock market is abuzz and traders' jaws are on the floor after an individual investor turned an $8,000 investment into $5.7 billion after buying trillions of Shiba Inu cryptocurrency upon its debut. Now, I know a thing or two about cryptocurrency, so I'll let you guys in on what's going on. Shiba Inu was created as a joke to make fun of actual cryptocurrencies. It didn't stop it from being traded, however, and someone bought $8,000 worth of it, which at the time put them in the trillions of the coin. In roughly 14 months, the valuation of that cryptocurrency went up more than 7 million%. Talk about your all-time return. It is unknown whether or not the investor can liquidate their holdings without taking the whole coin, but as of right now, they're hanging on to it. Greedy bastard.
A 23-year-old from Massachusetts named Brandon started working at Google in San Francisco a few months ago. After spending his internship there, he realized that housing prices were absolutely outrageous. He was paying roughly $2,000 a month to live in a 2-bedroom apartment with 4 people. Upon moving out there, Brandon decided he was going to live out of a 128-square-foot truck. He currently resides there, parked on the Google campus. The truck houses Brandon, a bed, and a dresser. He eats meals on the Google campus and showers after a workout at their fitness center every morning. Brandon stated that this allows him to save roughly 90% of his income after taxes. He doesn't own anything that needs to be plugged in other than his phone and his laptop, which he charges at work. I think this is awesome. Having lived out of a car myself, it's pretty nice to save money, and while you don't have the amenities of a house or apartment, you really appreciate the things you do have. That being said, I would hope that this would highlight the exorbitant housing and rental costs in areas such as San Francisco. This guy works for Google. I know they pay pretty well and have good benefits, but if he can't afford to live anywhere near his work and still have a life, that's pretty f***ed up. I don't know what the answer is, but let's be honest, San Francisco is not worth the price of not having money to do anything after you're done working. Anyways, you can follow Brandon on his blog, Thoughts from Inside the Box, to see what it's all about.
Updates in the Alec Baldwin shooting of Helena Hutchins have merged after a new affidavit was released. Alec Baldwin himself has posted on multiple occasions that it was not his fault. Instead, Baldwin insists that the blame should rest with the assistant director, David Halls. According to reports, Halls handed the firearm to Baldwin, stating that the weapon was cold. Neither Baldwin nor Halls checked it themselves. Santa Fe police say it is still unclear whether or not Baldwin or anyone will be charged in the incident. As of right now, charges are still an option on the table. More on the story as it evolves. While the outcome of this case still remains in the shadow, we'll be waiting here on the edge.
You may have heard of famed singer Freddie Mercury. You may also be familiar with the famed singer Adele. But are you familiar with the famed rapper Bryson Gray? Adele has spent 6 years readying herself for her new release, and developing a new her. She got in shape. She put in time and effort into lyrics and melody and rhythm. She released it with a PR campaign that sent it soaring to the top of the charts. And then Bryson Gray showed up. This week, Bryson Gray's song, Let's Go Brandon, topped the charts on iTunes and eclipsed Sweet Adele. It all started at a NASCAR event in Alabama, October 2nd. NBC was covering the event, and the anchor was live. In the background, thousands of people were in the stands and were chanting, "F Joe Biden," loudly and clearly for everybody to hear. The NBC anchor, however, assured viewers that they were actually shouting, "Let's go Brandon," in support of one of the drivers. It may have been an effort to dismiss vulgarity on live broadcast, but regardless, it was not the truth, and the public opened up a can. Bryson Gray decided to make a song out of it, and he delivered. It's actually catchy as f***. Millions of people think so as well, and the song went viral. Now, the powers that be decided that this wouldn't do and banned it from Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, naturally saying that it was hate speech and misinformation. Once again, the public responded to this bullshit by flooding iTunes and posting this song everywhere. Currently, his song is still banned on YouTube, but Gary has been active on social media, taking shots at the platforms that banned him. He pointed out that the left gets to say whatever they want, and yet ban everything they don't agree with. On this account, I have to say, I'm with Gray. Keep it even across the board or don't do it at all, because as always, everyone hates a hypocrite. For those of you who are wondering what happened to the Texas Democrat lawmakers who fled Texas for DC over a month ago, the answer is nothing. No one was arrested. I'm sure a couple of closed doors reprimands happened, but other than that, there was no consequence to actual lawmakers abandoning their jobs and fleeing their state because they didn't want to do their job.
This week, Florida Man's News will be reported by the most trusted news anchor, me, Lance Liggett, founder of Thigh Huggers, world's most handsome man candidate and mullet aficionado. Also the best representation of what a Florida man should be. This week, Florida native Louis Branson was stopped by the police during a routine traffic stop because his tags were expired. Seems pretty normal, but it gets way more Florida from here. When police approached the vehicle, they saw what they thought was a passenger in the vehicle, dressed in a terrifying clown costume. When asked for his identity, Louis told police that it was actually a mannequin. Not knowing why someone would have a human-sized clown mannequin in the truck, police decided to take a deeper look through the vehicle. Upon searching, they found a black container, and inside there was a surprise, a live grenade. To Louis's credit, he did tell the police that he had a grenade in the car, which was a nice gesture. He told deputies that he found a grenade while cleaning out a veteran's house and decided to hang on to it. What a blast. Louis sounds like he has a passion to live on the wild side, or a very specific terrifying fetish involving clowns and explosives. But who am I to judge? This is the United States of Florida, where people regularly do meth while riding wild animals down the street, or get drunk and pole vault over rivers naked. It's Florida, okay? And we love our freedom, and we take advantage of it. Besides the clown and grenade, deputies also found cocaine, meth, and weed, which to be fair is in 70% of the cars in Florida. So they were likely to find that in any car they stopped. Louis is currently being held on $7,000 bond. But this isn't the first time Louis had been in prison, and he says going back is going to be a blast. After arresting Louis, deputies did an x-ray scan of the grenade and determined it was indeed live, as they were able to see the firing mechanism inside was still primed. The police were blown away when they realized Louis had been driving around in his truck for over 3 years. In my opinion, the only crime really committed by Louis was wearing long pants. Louis, brother, this is Florida. You gotta free those thighs.
I'm Thomas Hunt.
And I'm Matt Finney.
And I'm Lance Liggett. Free those thighs.